world around you isn't as solid as you might believe. It shifts with your awareness. This audiobook reveals a timeless truth. Reality doesn't just happen to you, it responds to you. As you listen, you'll discover how to harness this hidden power and design your life with intention. That secret is already inside you, just waiting for you to wake up to it. In the vast expanse of time, a sacred knowledge has flowed silently, like a river, through the minds of those who dared to question existence. This age-old wisdom has been handed down by mystics and sages. It shares a deep truth. The universe follows certain spiritual laws that shape everything around you. Right now, you're on the edge of a revelation. The fact that you're hearing these words isn't just coincidence. It shows a higher intelligence at work. You've been called to awaken to your true power. This power has always been within you, waiting to be recognized. What you're about to explore is more than just information. It's a path to transformation. These pages hold the very essence of universal truth, refined through centuries of understanding. As you dive into these teachings, you'll see that every situation in your life, every joy and every challenge, stems from the invisible world of thoughts and energy. The principle you're about to learn goes beyond mere manifestation. It unveils how reality bends to your deepest beliefs, perceptions, and vibrations. This is the hidden force many refer to as destiny, one that you've unknowingly controlled since you were born. The signs have always been there, whispering to you through moments of synchronicity and intuition. Those times when things felt too perfectly aligned, they were glimpses of something bigger at play. Now, you're ready to lift the curtain and see reality for what it truly is. But with this knowledge comes responsibility. Once you grasp the laws that shape your world, you can't hide in ignorance anymore. You'll become aware of your role as a creator, as someone who designs their own experiences. The journey ahead might challenge everything you thought you knew about reality. But remember, you're drawn to these words because your spirit knows their truth. Part 1. Breaking the Illusion. Chapter 1. The world isn't what you think it is. In the quiet streets of London, where time felt like it was dancing with countless ticking clocks, there lived a watchmaker named Elliot. His life was all about precision and certainty, where every gear and spring obeyed strict rules. But then, as autumn leaves began to fall in 1932, the very fabric of his reality started to tear apart. It all began with a brass pocket watch on his workbench. He clearly remembered fixing it the day before, yet there it sat, still broken, as if his effort had never happened at all. His apprentice insisted that the watch had just arrived that morning. Then there was the morning when his favorite cafe, where he had enjoyed breakfast for 15 years, transformed into a bookshop. According to everyone else, it always had been. As Elliot's certainty crumbled, a bigger truth emerged. Reality wasn't the solid force he thought. It was more like water, flowing and changing with the vessel of consciousness that held it. Fast forward 2 decades to the sparkling world of Hollywood, where Eleanor Davis stood in front of her mirror, her hands shaking with determination. For years, she was just another face in the crowd, another hopeful, lost amid dreams. But on that crucial morning, something shifted inside her. She looked at her reflection, not seeing what was, but what could be, what was already in her heart. "I am a star," she whispered, not just as a statement, but as her truth. She began to live from that deep knowing, moving with the grace and confidence of the success she felt within. Within months, the outside world started to reflect her inner certainty. A chance meeting at a diner led to an audition, which landed her a small role that caught a notable director's eye. By the end of the year, Eleanor Davis was on everyone's lips, not through luck, but through the power of her changed consciousness. These stories shine a light on a timeless truth about consciousness. What we see as solid reality is just a mirror of our inner state. The world around you isn't fixed. It's alive, responsive, and waiting for your guidance. Here's a sacred insight. Reality isn't just happening to you, it's responding to you. So try this ancient practice of reality bending. Pick one small thing in your day-to-day life that you want to change. Maybe it's how others treat you, or the flow of your morning routine. For 7 days, hold on to the unwavering belief that this aspect is shifting. You're already different. You're not hoping or wishing anymore. You know it deep in your heart. Just like you know the sun will rise each day, watch as the world around you starts to move with your new awareness. Keep track of every little shift, every synchronicity, no matter how tiny. In these subtle changes, you'll see how flexible reality really is. Chapter 2: The Hidden Code of Reality. In the busy newsroom of the Chicago Herald, surrounded by the noise of typewriters and thick cigarette smoke, James Anderson stumbled upon the secret structure of reality. It started with a headline he wrote about a local bridge being built. "Steel dreams rise above the river." Just 3 days later, those same words popped up in a chat he overheard on the train, where strangers talked about their dreams. At first, James brushed it off as just a coincidence, but the strange patterns began to emerge. You see, reality communicates in echoes. What James discovered wasn't random, but the true rhythm of life. Like ripples in a pond, every thought, every word, every action sends out waves that bounce back across time. In a simple suburban home in 1943, Dorothy Wheeler made a similar discovery one spring morning while hanging laundry. She started dancing to her neighbor's radio. That very afternoon, an unexpected check showed up in her mailbox. A week later, while baking cookies with her kids, their laughter filled the air. The next day, her husband got a surprise promotion. Dorothy realized a pattern. Moments of pure joy often came right before unexpected blessings. She had tapped into one of reality's greatest secrets. Instead of fighting for outcomes or resisting circumstances, she learned to embrace joy, knowing it was the key to unlocking abundance. This isn't coincidence, it's cosmic law. Reality follows precise patterns like a giant math equation. These patterns are everywhere, from the spiral of galaxies to the way a fern leaf unfurls, from the changing seasons to the rhythm of your daily life. The universe speaks in patterns, and those who learn to recognize them become masters at making things happen. For the next 3 days, be a detective in your own life. Grab a journal and write down every time your outside world reflects your inner state. Note it all. Think about your morning thoughts and how they shape what follows. Notice how your emotions attract similar experiences. Pay close attention to patterns, numbers, or situations that keep showing up. This is more than just observing. It's a doorway into the secret language of life. As you notice these trends, you start to speak the universe's language, giving you the power to shape your reality with intention. Chapter 3: The Hall of Mirrors. How reality reflects who you are. In a smoke-filled haze at the Blue Note, Richard Matthews's fingers flew over the piano keys. Night after night, he poured his heart into every note, but the crowd grew more hostile, their jeers cutting through like harsh noise. Richard had mastered his instrument, but there was one thing he hadn't yet conquered: his inner feelings. You see, the world responds not just to what you do, but to who you really are. Richard played beautifully, but deep down he felt unworthy, believing his art would never be truly valued, and the universe reflected that back to him. Then one night, everything changed. Before he sat at the piano, Richard closed his eyes. He let himself feel what he had denied. He was, at his core, an artist deserving of respect. He didn't just think it, he embodied it. That night, the same music flowed from his fingers, but this time, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. The room fell silent, captivated. In a matter of weeks, the Blue Note became a jazz haven. Meanwhile, in the quiet streets of 1930s Boston, Margaret Sullivan faced her own awakening. Tired of rejection letters, she stood in front of her mirror and declared, "I am not a struggling poet. I am the voice of a generation." She didn't just speak those words. She let them redefine who she was. The universe doesn't respond to your wishes or actions, but to the unchangeable truth of how you see yourself. Margaret's change wasn't about her writing, it was about her essence. Within months, publishers who had once ignored her came looking for her. Those same poems that had been turned away now resonated with power, all because of how she embraced her identity. Things had changed, but it was the awareness behind them that had shifted. Sacred insights show us that our outer reality is just a reflection of our inner state. What you see around you is like a mirror, bouncing back your deepest beliefs. The ancient masters knew this important truth. The universe works to bring into existence what you already believe in your heart. When you understand this wisdom, you realize that every situation, every encounter, and everything that happens in your life reveals who you think you are. Before you dive into anything today, take a moment. Shift your emotional state on purpose. If you're heading into a meeting, don't just think about your words, think about who you are. Become the kind of person who naturally draws in success. Notice how people respond to you differently, not because of actions, but because of your presence. Keep track of these shifts in your journal. You'll see how reality reshapes itself to match your inner change. In Chapter 4, The Dreamer Awakens, lie the reflections of life as a lucid dream. One night, over the Pacific, Lieutenant John Harrison found himself in a unique awareness state. His P-51 Mustang flew through clouds, but everything felt different. The sky was brighter, and the stars seemed to tune in to his thoughts. He realized he was dreaming, but fully awake. What he discovered that night unveiled a truth hidden from humanity for too long. Your waking life works just like a lucid dream. Just as John could guide his aircraft with his mind, you can also shape your reality with conscious awareness. In a quiet corner of the Boston Public Library, Anna Wells found this same truth through another path. Surrounded by ancient books, she made a choice that would change her life. She decided to treat every moment like a dream where anything is possible. This wasn't just an idea for her. It became her way of living. When a visitor asked for a rare manuscript, instead of saying it could take weeks, Anna smiled and confidently replied, "It will show up at just the right time." To her surprise, within hours, that very manuscript was returned. Another person had it for years. This wasn't just luck, it was how the universe responds to what you truly believe. The space between dreams and reality is thinner than you think. When you really understand that your waking life is just as changeable as a lucid dream, the impossible starts to feel natural. Just like how things in your dreams react to your awareness, your physical world shifts based on your consciousness. It's a sacred insight. Life isn't just happening to you, it's reacting to how aware you are. When you wake up in the dream of life, you become its creator. So throughout your day, take a moment to check in with yourself. Do this ancient practice of awakening. Pick something you believe can't happen in your life right now. For just a moment, think of it as not only possible but totally natural. Pay attention to how your reality starts to change with this new idea. Write down every little shift and coincidence that comes after your reality check. You're not just testing what's real, you're uncovering your power as the writer of your own story. Now let's talk about the reality selection principle. In a small clock shop in Vermont, Charlie Matthews stood in front of two pocket watches, one gold and one silver. As he reached for the gold watch, time felt like it split. In one scenario, he chose the gold watch and met a mysterious stranger who changed his life. In another, he picked the silver watch, and life continued as usual. This moment revealed a truth that has been whispered through the ages. Reality doesn't flow like a river. It branches like a tree with endless possibilities. Every choice isn't just a decision. It's choosing which reality you want to experience. The universe doesn't unfold in a straight path. It expands in all directions, waiting for your awareness to decide what will happen next. Ruth Bennett found this principle in a different way after her husband passed away in 1952. Instead of accepting the label of a grieving widow, she made a choice that changed everything. One morning, she looked at herself in the mirror and said, "I am starting a grand new adventure." In that moment, her reality shifted. Just days later, opportunities appeared that she hadn't seen before. An old letter with forgotten stocks turned up, and a neighbor invited her to co-host art gatherings. A passion she never knew she had began to spring to life. The passion for painting she set aside in her youth came rushing back. The power of choice is more than just making decisions. It's how you pick which version of reality becomes your life. Every moment offers endless possibilities, and your awareness decides which one comes to life. Here's the sacred insight. You're not just moving through time toward the future. Instead, you're choosing which reality to experience from countless options available to you. Start by picking small outcomes in your day. Before you walk into a room, decide on the experience you want to have. When you make a call, visualize how that conversation will go. Take note of these conscious choices and watch how your reality lines up with them. You're not predicting what will happen. You're picking it from an endless array of choices available in every moment. Remember, your power isn't about wishing for a specific outcome. It's about deciding which reality you want to step into. Each choice, no matter how tiny, is a way of selecting your reality. In every decision, you come to a significant crossroads where countless possibilities meet. Through your awareness and deliberate choices, you determine not just what could happen, but what will unfold in alignment with your divine intent. This is the profound wisdom the ancient masters understood. When your will aligns with universal laws, you become the creator of your own experience. Now let's look at Chapter 6. The world isn't what you think it is. Back in 1934, Elliot Harrison was in his dimly lit workshop, and something strange caught his eye. The brass gears he had meticulously placed on his workbench had moved overnight, even though no one else could reach them. At first, he thought it was just exhaustion. But soon, he noticed more oddities. His neighbors talked about events he couldn't remember, while memories he was sure of seemed to exist only in his mind. One morning, as sunlight streamed through the dusty windows, Elliot was stunned to see a pocket watch he had fixed the day before, sitting beautifully on his bench, yet he distinctly remembered it still needed work. In that moment, the solid walls of his perception began to crack, revealing a big truth. Reality isn't the unchangeable thing he thought it was. What seems fixed is really an illusion, just a reflection of your deepest beliefs about what's possible. Your awareness shapes the very fabric of existence, moment by moment. Eleanor Matthews was a performer who lit up small theaters back in 1952. Night after night, she faced empty seats, but one day she decided to change everything. Instead of seeing herself as just a struggling actress, she believed deep down that she was already a star. She started to walk and talk with confidence, treating every small show like it was Broadway's opening night. Within months, everything changed. A big-time director spotted her during a local production, and suddenly, critics took notice. Opportunities that once felt out of reach came pouring in, as if they had been waiting for her all along. What you see in your life isn't fixed, it mirrors your mindset. Change that mindset, and the world around you will change too. This isn't just some wishful thinking, it's how reality works. To test this out, pick one little thing in your daily life you want to change. Maybe it's how people react to you, or how your mornings go. Write down what you currently believe about it. Then, create a new belief that feels exciting, yet doable. For the next week, hold on to this new belief like it's already your reality. Watch how your surroundings start to shift, showing just how flexible reality can be. Make sure to jot down every change, no matter how small, as these are the first signs of a world that isn't as fixed as it seems. In Chapter 7, we dive into the hidden codes of reality. In 1923, James Mitchell worked as the chief editor of the Chicago Herald. He witnessed something remarkable. While reviewing headlines daily, he realized they were more than just reports of the past. They were hints of the future. A story about a local business thriving would often line up perfectly with a conversation he'd have days later. An article about the weather would unexpectedly reflect his own life. Reality follows specific patterns, much like the golden ratio found in nature. Events and experiences seem to follow these hidden rules, and once you spot them, you begin to see the very foundation of existence. James filled countless notebooks with his observations, uncovering the connections in news stories that told more than one tale. Triumph often came before personal victories, just like stories of community gatherings preceded surprising reunions. In his life, the universe was sending him messages through these patterns, revealing the very blueprint of reality. This isn't just coincidence. Reality is built like a fractal, with patterns echoing at every level, from tiny particles to massive galaxies. Once you grasp this idea, you can begin to shape these patterns, steering events in your direction. Take Dorothy Wells, a homemaker in 1947, as an example. She discovered her own pattern. Whenever she truly embraced joyful moments, like when she was baking bread or taking care of her garden, unexpected gifts started popping up in her life. A neighbor would drop off fresh vegetables, an old debt would get paid back, or a new opportunity would arise for her husband's business. Dorothy began to work with this pattern, viewing it as a sacred key to universal abundance. Instead of waiting for joy to find her, she made a conscious choice to seek it out in every moment, knowing it was the spark that would set off a flow of blessings. She found ways to fill even the simplest tasks with real appreciation. Whether she was hanging laundry or washing dishes, she blessed each item and marveled at the morning dew on her roses. Before long, her life transformed in ways that seemed miraculous to others, but felt completely natural to her. The pattern she uncovered became a powerful tool for crafting the life she wanted. It showed that when you sync up with the universe's natural rhythm of joy, it responds with even more abundance. Now, here's a ritual for the next 3 days. Keep a sacred record of what you experience. Write down your main thoughts and feelings throughout the day. Then notice how reality reflects them back to you. Look for recurring themes, numbers, or situations, and pay special attention to events that follow certain emotions or thoughts. This practice will unveil the hidden language the universe uses to communicate with you, helping you decode the messages woven into your daily life. Chapter 8. The Hall of Mirrors. How Reality Mirrors You. In the smoky jazz clubs of New Orleans, Richard Thompson's fingers flew across the piano keys night after night, but his music often fell on hostile ears. Arguments broke out, glasses shattered, and a thick air of disharmony filled the room. Night after night, the same thing happened until Richard stumbled upon a truth that changed everything. You see, the world around you isn't just reacting to what you want or what you do. It responds to who you believe you are. Richard's big realization came when he noticed how much he was carrying: the weight of past rejections, the fear of failing, and the feeling of being unworthy. The universe reflected all of that right back at him. One night, before he even touched the piano keys, Richard closed his eyes and shifted his mindset. He embraced the idea of being a master musician whose music could heal souls. As his fingers grazed the keys, something in the room changed. The audience went quiet, their expressions softened, and the air filled with a unique energy. His technique didn't change. It was only his inner state that transformed, and reality adjusted to match it. This same principle worked just as powerfully for Margaret Wells, a poet in 1934. She faced years of rejection from publishers in Boston. Then one morning she stood in front of her mirror and boldly declared, "I am a voice for the ages, and my words heal hearts." She didn't just say it, she embodied it. Within weeks, her life changed. A publisher found her work at a local reading, and her first collection resonated with readers. Her words truly began to heal hearts. The mirror of life didn't reflect back what she wanted to achieve. It showed who she had become. The truth is right in front of you. Your external world isn't random. It's a mirror of your inner state and your deepest beliefs about yourself. When you shift your identity, reality has to reshape itself around that new truth. Want to experience this for yourself? Stand before a mirror at sunrise or sunset. Notice your current feelings and the reality those feelings have created. Now, consciously change that inner state to one of pure confidence, joy, or peace. Hold on to this new feeling for 3 deep breaths. Carry this energy with you throughout your day. Watch how the world begins to change, how strangers interact with you, how situations unfold, how opportunities come your way. This isn't magic, it's the natural law of reflection in action. Chapter N. The Dreamer Awakens. Life is a lucid dream, high above the Pacific in 1943. John Anderson's P-51 Mustang went into a nosedive, and as he started to lose consciousness, he found himself in a bright, vivid dream. But this dream was different. He realized he was dreaming, and with that awareness, he could control everything around him. The clouds moved when he wanted them to. Gravity changed to suit his wishes. Reality shifted with his thoughts. When John woke up in his bunk unharmed, he carried an incredible insight with him. Our waking life operates on the same principles as a lucid dream. The only difference? Awareness. This same realization lit a spark in Anna Mitchell, who worked at the Boston Public Library in 1924. Surrounded by endless stories, one autumn morning, she made a brave choice. Instead of sticking to the limits of her daily routine, she began to treat reality like a dream where anything could happen. She started small, picturing new books appearing just when needed and patrons finding exactly what they wanted. To her surprise, These little changes happened right away. Feeling bold, Anna expanded her visions. She saw herself as the head librarian, even though no woman had ever held that role. Within weeks, a series of unexpected events led to her getting the position. The truth is clear. Your reality is just as flexible as a dream. The key difference between those who make their dreams come true and those who feel trapped by life is their awareness. When you understand that you're the dreamer, not just a character in someone else's story, everything shifts. Here's a practice for you. Throughout your day, take a moment 3 times to pause. Look at your hands, just like you would in a lucid dream. Ask yourself, if this were a dream, what would I change right now? Then, with the certainty of a dreamer, believe that this change is not just possible, but destined to happen. Watch as reality starts to shift around your new belief. This isn't just imagination, it's a real change in how you relate to reality. Just like a dreamer doesn't need permission to alter their dream, you don't need permission to reshape your world. The only thing standing between you and your desires is your awareness of this truth. During the Great Depression, Charlie Matthews faced a critical moment. Ahead of him were 2 paths. One led to the factory where his father had toiled for 30 years, and the other led to the train station, toward an uncertain future. In that moment, he realized something profound. Every choice creates a unique reality. As Charlie decided to head to the station, something amazing happened. The world around him seemed to sparkle, as if reality was shifting to match his decision. Within days, new opportunities began to appear, ones he had never seen before. His choice not only changed his direction, but also reshaped the very essence of his possible futures. This truth is mirrored in Ruth Henderson's story from 1952. After losing her husband, Ruth stood in front of a mirror in her simple Chicago apartment. Instead of seeing a widow trapped by her situation, she chose to see herself as a woman embarking on a grand adventure. The moment she embraced this new identity, her world began to change. Conversations took unexpected turns, and a chance meeting opened doors she never imagined before. Her decision about who she wanted to be created waves that transformed her reality. It's important to understand that reality doesn't unfold in a straight line. Every moment offers countless possibilities, and your choices shape which one becomes real. You're not just passing through time, you're picking which timeline is your experience. The wise ones of the past understood this. Your future isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you need to choose. Every thought and decision, every identity you adopt, is a choice that activates a specific branch of reality. Start your manifestation practice with something small but clear. Pick an outcome you want for the day. A surprising conversation with a stranger wearing blue, or discovering a specific amount of money. Make this choice with confidence, as if you were choosing from a menu. Don't just wish for it or hope it happens. Choose it, knowing you're selecting the version of reality where that outcome is possible. Then, watch how reality shifts to align with your choice. This isn't about manifesting through action or struggle. It's about choosing among existing possibilities and bringing one into your experience. Practice this. As you go through your day, start with small choices and see how quickly reality adjusts to what you decide. Remember, you aren't just predicting the future, you're picking it. Part 2, Breaking the Illusion. Chapter 11, The Power of Now, Unlocking the Gateway to All Possibilities. In the bustling financial district of New York back in 1929, Edward Montgomery dashed between meetings, his gold pocket watch always clutched in hand. Time felt like his foe, always ahead, pushing him toward the next deal, the next chance to build his fortune. He was caught in a daydream of a future where wealth would finally bring him peace. But then came October 24th. The market crashed, and just like that, Edward's carefully laid plans fell apart. In one crushing moment, all his preparations were pointless. For the first time, he found himself with nowhere to go and nothing to chase. In that unexpected stillness, he realized something profound. With no control over tomorrow, he started noticing the little things in the present, the rich taste of his morning coffee, the echo of footsteps on marble floors, the sunlight dancing through his office window. As he turned his focus to the now, incredible coincidences began to unfold. Opportunities popped up from unexpected places. Solutions seemed to appear just when he needed them. This truth showed up differently for Beatrix Thompson, a seamstress in Milwaukee in 1944. While others hurried through their tasks, Beatrix poured her full attention into every stitch, every movement of the needle. She found that when she was completely present, time felt malleable. Jobs that should have taken hours flowed seamlessly in mere minutes. Clients arrived just when she needed them. Resources showed up exactly on cue. Understand this. The present moment isn't just a point stuck between the past and the future. It's where all power lies. It's the place where all possible realities meet, and transformation takes place instantly. When you immerse yourself in the now, you tap into pure potential. Most people spread their energy across time, regretting what's happened and worrying about what's to come. But real manifestation occurs right here, right now. When you focus all your awareness on the present, you enter a realm where every possibility exists simultaneously. So throughout your day, practice this moment alignment. Bring your full attention to whatever you're doing. Feel the water on your hands while washing dishes. Feel your body as you walk. Pay attention to the quiet sounds around you. If your thoughts drift to the past or future, gently guide them back to now. As you practice being present, watch how reality reacts. Notice how time feels different. Synchronicities seem to pop up. Solutions appear on their own. The deeper you live in the now, the more life aligns with what's best for you. This isn't about controlling time. It's about stepping into the timelessness of the present moment. Here, all power exists, all doors swing wide open, and transformation becomes possible. In the quiet repair shop, Franklin Bennett held time in his hands. Each watch on his workbench had its own tale to tell, some ticking fast, others slow, each with a unique rhythm. As he fine-tuned their delicate parts, he noticed something amazing. The way time flowed changed with his focus. When Franklin zeroed in on his task, hours zipped by like minutes. But when he drifted to memories, the present felt stretchy and changeable. After years of watching, he realized a big truth. Time isn't a straight line. It's a dance of awareness. The universe talks to us through these stories, showing that time is just how we perceive things. Your past, present, and future exist together, intertwined in ways that logic can't fully understand. Elena Williams discovered this truth in her own way. After 30 years of teaching, she found herself lost in old photo albums, reliving memories that felt set in stone. One day, she decided to reimagine a painful childhood moment, not as it really happened, but as she wished it had. To her surprise, fresh memories popped up, feeling just as real. As she kept this up, her current life shifted in little but clear ways. Relationships healed, new opportunities appeared. Her future started reshaping to match her newly transformed past. You see, time isn't just a line. It's a sphere full of endless possibilities. Each moment holds all moments. When you change how you view any point in time, you change the whole sphere. Try this time transformation ritual. Sit quietly and bring to mind a past event that still weighs on you. Feel the emotional weight lift. Now consciously choose to view this moment differently. Imagine it not as it was, but as you wished it could have been. Let this new version take root in your mind. Allow your whole timeline to adjust around this fresh memory. As you do this, watch how your current situation starts to change. At first, it's just a small shift. Then it gains momentum. New possibilities will spring up where you once felt stuck. Old habits will fade away like mist in the morning sun. Future potentials will sprout like seeds in rich soil. Your reality will begin to reshape itself based on your new outlook. You're not rewriting history. You're realizing that history is flexible, responding to your mindset just like this moment does. Remember, time is just a concept, and your mind controls every experience. Now, let's talk about the belief paradox. You see what you believe. In a dim Chicago jazz club, Lawrence Mitchell played his saxophone every night. He poured his heart into his music, but every empty seat proved what he felt deep down. The world was against him. His talent went unnoticed, and his dreams felt out of reach. Then, one night, an older gentleman lingered after the show. His eyes sparkled as he spoke words that would change everything for Lawrence. "The world isn't against you, son. It's just agreeing with you." That was a simple truth, yet it was powerful enough to redefine Lawrence's life. The old man explained that our beliefs actively shape our reality. Within months of changing his perspective, Lawrence's music began to attract crowds. His reputation soared, and opportunities appeared like magic. This idea played out even more dramatically for Dorothy Wells. After losing her husband in 1934, she believed her life was over too. Her world turned gray, limited, and empty. Then one morning, she made a seemingly small choice: to believe that life was working for her, despite everything telling her otherwise. That simple shift started a transformation. First, a kind neighbor brings over fresh bread. Then, there's an unexpected letter filled with good news. A chance meeting sparks a new friendship. In just weeks, her life had changed so much that people started calling it miraculous. But really, it wasn't miracles. It was just how the world works. Your outer life has to match what you believe inside. Most people try to change their situations while still holding on to the beliefs that created those situations. That's why many feel stuck, not realizing they actually hold the key to their own freedom. There's an ancient practice called the belief transmutation ritual. Pick one core belief that shapes your reality. Maybe you think life is tough or that success is out of reach. For 7 days, focus on its opposite truth. Every morning, write down this new belief 3 times. Throughout the day, when the old thought pops up, gently replace it with the new one. Keep track of how your outside world begins to change. You might notice subtle shifts first, how people react to you differently, small coincidences that catch your eye, new opportunities that show up. Watch as your reality begins to rearrange around your new belief. This is the secret behind all manifestation. Before we move on to the next chapter, you can grab a free ebook version of this audiobook through the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14, The Universe is Alive and Responding to You. Through the ages, a fascinating story has survived. It's about Harrison Wells, whose awakening to the universe's living intelligence holds a key for your transformation. Back in 1923, in his cluttered workshop in Boston, Harrison noticed something strange. The same numbers kept showing up on invoices and street addresses. Identical phrases kept popping up in conversations. Objects seemed to arrange themselves in meaningful ways. At first, he thought it was just coincidence, but as these syncs multiplied, a powerful truth emerged. The universe was responding to his thoughts with clear, intelligent feedback. This revelation mirrors Virginia Thompson's experience a couple of decades later. In 1944, while working the switchboard at Bell Telephone, Virginia found she could tap into the universe. When she quietly asked for guidance, answers would pop up in overheard conversations, random book pages opening, or unexpected moments that felt perfectly timed. As she connected with the universe, she realized it wasn't just a cold machine, but a vibrant presence that was always in conversation with her. What these stories reveal is a truth that's been overlooked. The universe isn't separate from you. It's not just a backdrop for your life. It's a living intelligence that reacts to your every thought, feeling, and intention. Those coincidences that seem random, they're messages, tailored responses to how you're feeling inside. Think of how a mirror reflects your movements instantly. There's no delay. There's no separation between what you do and what you see in the mirror. The universe works the same way, always mirroring back your consciousness through events, encounters, and situations. Every synchronistic moment you have is proof that you're in direct contact with the infinite intelligence that surrounds everything. Before you settle down tonight, try this sacred sign invocation. Speak silently to the universe. Ask for a specific sign, maybe a color, a symbol, or an event. Make your request clear, but let go of how or when you expect it to show up. For the next 24 hours, stay gently aware. Pay attention to how the universe responds, not with thinking, but with a deeper knowing that comes from within. Jot down every sign or synchronistic event in a sacred journal. Note not only what you saw, but also the feelings those moments brought up. Focus on the soft whispers of intuition, the quickening in your heart, or that feeling of recognition when something significant happens. This intimate exchange between your consciousness and universal intelligence is the key to bringing your deepest desires to life. Each documented synchronicity becomes a thread in the rich tapestry of divine communication, blending your visible experiences with the unseen. By practicing this sacred observation and recording, you strengthen the connection between your earthly self and the infinite wisdom that's eager to guide you. Now, let's move on to Chapter 15. The shift begins. It's all about waking up from the dream. In the stories of awakening, few tales illustrate the line between sleeping and waking as vividly as Benjamin Thorne's On a Frost-Covered Morning in 1934. Benjamin was at his usual spot aboard the Eastern Continental, his hand ready. He kept the throttle steady when something amazing happened. The dream from last night still lingered in his mind, like morning mist. In that dream, he was both the train conductor and the creator of the railway. He changed the tracks with just his thoughts, built stations with a wave of his hand. But instead of brushing this vision off when he woke up, Benjamin started to wonder, was his waking life really any different? As he looked at his everyday world with fresh eyes, he noticed how the lines between dreaming and being awake began to blur. He saw how his expectations shaped each day, how his mood impacted the behavior of those around him, and how his thoughts often came before what actually happened. This awakening mirrored what Lillian Foster experienced in her little dress shop back in 1952. Surrounded by patterns and options, Lillian suddenly saw things clearly. She realized she had been living according to a script crafted by others, family pressures, social norms, and inherited limits. In that moment, she decided to take charge, to write her own story. She started small, changing her daily habits and relationships, then her approach to business, and eventually, her entire life narrative. What once seemed fixed now opened up to endless possibilities. Her little dress shop blossomed into a renowned fashion house, not because of outside changes, but because she rewrote what was possible inside herself. These stories reveal a vital truth. You're not just a character in life's big play, you're the author. Every situation you face doesn't just happen to you, it unfolds through you. The script of your life is waiting for your mindful revision. Here's a simple exercise. Choose one part of your life that feels stuck. Take 3 deep breaths, letting your awareness stretch beyond its usual limits. Now, with the power of an author going over their work, write a new scene for that part of your life. Be clear, detailed, and confident in your vision. Speak this new story out loud 3 times, feeling the truth in every word. Then, move through your day as if this new reality is already coming to life. Notice how quickly your surroundings start to reflect your revamped script. Write down every change, every coincidence that supports your new story. You're not just dreaming up a new narrative, you're awakening to your role as the divine author of your life. The science of vibration is woven into the everyday static and chaos we live through. It holds a truth that's been hiding right in front of us. Let me tell you about the moment it hit Walter Bennett one rainy night in 1943. He was in his small radio repair shop, surrounded by vacuum tubes and copper wires. Walter spent countless evenings fine-tuning radios, chasing that perfect clarity through all the noise. Night after night, he saw how the tiniest adjustment could turn chaos into clear sound. Then one night, while tweaking yet another radio, clarity struck him like lightning. He realized that his life, and really all of life, operated on the same idea. The world wasn't sending out confusing signals. He'd just been on the wrong frequency. Every thought, every feeling, every situation vibrated at its unique frequency. What showed up in his life wasn't random. It matched his inner tuning perfectly. This same insight was echoed by Evelyn, who played the piano in a smoky Chicago speakeasy back in 1924. For years, she stuck to the same sad songs, drawing in an audience that mirrored her downcast vibe. Then one night, she figured out that by shifting what was in her heart, she could change the entire atmosphere of the club. As she began to play uplifting tunes, her crowd shifted from drunken patrons to true music lovers. Eventually, her performances moved from dim bars to grand concert halls. You see, the universe isn't reacting to what you wish for or want. It's responding to your frequency. Like a radio, you only receive stations that match your tuning. You experience what resonates with your dominant vibration. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs aren't just bystanders in reality. They're the dial that brings in different versions of existence. Starting tomorrow at dawn, you'll begin a frequency reset. Pick a vibration you want to embody: joy, abundance, peace, or love. For one whole day, hold on to that frequency in your thoughts, emotions, and actions. When lower vibrations creep in, fine-tune yourself like Walter did with his radio until clarity returns. Notice how people treat you differently, how circumstances shift with your new frequency, and how doors that once seemed shut suddenly swing open. You're not changing the world. You're simply tuning into a different broadcast of reality. Keep a record of every change you notice. Synchronicity confirms your new vibe. In this practice lies the key to creating your reality. You become what you vibrate, and your world shifts accordingly. In 1934, at Princeton University, Henry Blackwood stumbled upon something extraordinary. While observing electrons in a dim lab, he noticed that simply watching them changed how they behaved. This wasn't just a scientific oddity, it was a profound revelation. Consciousness was interacting with reality at its core. What Henry discovered that night showed that awareness shapes reality. Just like electrons responded to observation, your world reacts to your focus. Whatever you concentrate on grows and manifests with stronger intensity. Years later, Clara Mitchell, a teacher in rural Minnesota, experienced this firsthand in the winter of 1942. Each day she saw the broken windows, worn books, and struggling students. The more she focused on what was lacking, the more that lack showed up. But one morning, everything changed. Instead of fixating on the cracks, she noticed the sunlight casting beautiful patterns through them. Rather than counting the missing books, she admired how eagerly her students shared what they had. Within weeks, parents stepped in to repair the windows, and donations started pouring in. Her classroom transformed, not because circumstances changed, but because she shifted her focus. The universe acts like a huge mirror, reflecting what you pay attention to. Like a photographer choosing where to point their lens, you decide which parts of reality you want to magnify. Now here's your experiment. For the next 3 days, try bending reality. Start by identifying 3 challenges you're facing. Then consciously shift your attention to the hidden possibilities in each one. Where you see lack, look for unexpected abundance. Where there are obstacles, search for opportunities. And make sure to document every shift you notice. When you change your focus, subtle shifts occur around you. Just like Henry noticed with his electrons and Clara in her classroom, reality adjusts to align with where you direct your attention. Remember, your attention isn't idle. It actually shapes the very fabric of your life. Every thought and moment you focus on sends ripples through unseen layers of reality, leaving a mark like an artist with a delicate brush. Your mind paints your experiences with every observation. So use it wisely. What you focus on, you create. And what you create becomes the living proof of your inner vision. Now let's talk about identity shifts. Becoming the person you already want to be. In 1923, on the busy streets of Chicago, Howard Matthews struggled with his inventions and growing debts. Every morning, he would look in the mirror and see just a failing inventor, fading into the background. But one evening, an elderly man showed up at his workshop. "You create nothing new," the stranger said, "because you're stuck being the same old you." That was the start of Howard's transformation. The stranger, who became his mentor, shared a powerful truth. The world around you changes to reflect your inner self. Success isn't just about working harder, it's about becoming someone different. This lesson traveled through time to a woman named Margaret Wells in Boston, 1935. Her little shop was struggling, but then she realized the same idea. One morning, she chose to embody the identity of a successful dressmaker. She walked differently, spoke with confidence, and acted as though she owned a top-notch boutique. Before long, wealthy clients were flocking to her, and her designs were featured in magazines. Her reality shifted, not because she learned new skills, but because she transformed into someone new. See? The universe doesn't respond to what you want or even what you do. It reflects who you truly are. When you change your core identity, reality has no choice but to follow suit. It's as certain as gravity. Here's a simple exercise. Pick one area of your life you want to change. For the next 24 hours, fully embody the identity of someone who has already achieved that goal. This isn't about pretending, it's about becoming. Embrace a new way of living. Move how you want to move. Think how you want to think. Make choices from your fresh viewpoint. Notice how the world starts to react to this new version of you. Pay attention to the little changes in how others treat you. Notice new opportunities and how situations seem to align with your updated identity. Remember, this isn't about achieving something, it's about becoming someone new. Once you truly step into this new identity, the universe will reshape itself to reflect who you've become. This isn't a matter of doing, it's a transformation of being, as mentioned in Chapter 19, the law of assumption. Act as if it's already real. Back in 1942, on the quiet streets of Philadelphia, Louis Blackwood stood in front of his mirror, adjusting his tie with precision. His tailoring shop was enough to get by, but real prosperity felt out of reach. That was until he challenged this long-held belief. "What if abundance is meant for me?" he whispered to his reflection, and just like that, something shifted in the universe. Louis started a simple experiment. Each morning, he assumed that wealth would naturally come to him. He treated his small shop like it was the fanciest place in town. When wealthy customers walked in, he assumed they'd return. When new opportunities popped up, he expected them to succeed. Within months, his beliefs turned into reality. His once quiet shop buzzed with Philadelphia's elite. Orders flowed in effortlessly, and money that used to slip through his fingers started appearing from unexpected places. A similar story unfolded for Alice Henderson in a little Chicago flower shop in 1934. After years of disappointing relationships, she realized her assumptions about love were shaping her experiences. She'd always believed good men were hard to find, that relationships were tough, and genuine connection was rare. Then, one spring morning, she decided to think differently. She started to believe that love was abundant, that real connections were easy, and that she was lovable. As she arranged roses day by day, she held on to these new beliefs with quiet confidence. Her world began to change. Customers shared deeper conversations, new friendships blossomed naturally. A kind man who regularly bought flowers for his mother soon became her husband. Nothing in her outside world changed, only her assumptions. You see, your assumptions are powerful. Your thoughts aren't just random, they're the hidden builders of your reality. What you truly believe will ultimately become reality. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a basic rule of life. Your beliefs shape your world. Take a week to change your beliefs. Start by writing down what you currently think about money, love, health, and success. Be brutally honest. These beliefs have quietly influenced your reality. Now, pick new beliefs that reflect the life you want to create. Hold on to these new beliefs just as tightly as you held the old ones. Live your life based on them. Make choices from this new perspective and let it guide your actions. Remember, you're not trying to fool yourself. You're simply opting for new beliefs and letting your world change accordingly. The universe has to respond to what you believe is true. In Chapter 20, we dive into time jumping, a way to speed up your dreams. Picture the busy streets of New York City in 1923. Roger Matthews is zipping between tasks, his notebook full of unfinished stories and unfulfilled dreams. He thought time was a straight path leading him to a future where his real life would finally start. Then he met Augustus Ville, an old clockmaker in a dimly lit shop filled with ticking clocks. Augustus, with a sparkle in his eye, explained that time isn't just a one-way street, it's more like an ocean. You can choose where to swim. Roger doubted it, but Augustus persisted. He pointed at the clocks, each showing different times yet existing all at once. Your future selves are just as real as you are right now. The real question is, which version of yourself will you connect with? That night, Roger took a leap. Instead of waiting to be a famous author, he wrote as if he already was. His articles changed, brimming with the confidence of his future self. Within weeks, publishers who had once overlooked him started to take notice. This same idea worked for Helen Morrison, a nurse at Mercy Hospital in Chicago in 1945. After a serious accident left her unable to walk, doctors warned her it could take years to recover. But Helen found something surprising. Each night, she would close her eyes and enter a place where she was already healed. She felt strength in her legs, grace in her movements, and joy in dancing. She brought this future version of herself into the present, letting it guide her actions and choices. Her recovery went beyond what the doctors expected. What should have taken years happened in just a few months. They called it a miracle, but Helen knew the real deal. She had bent time by aligning with the reality she wanted. Time isn't set in stone. It's fluid and responds to your awareness. Once you get this, you see that waiting is just a mirage. The future you want is already out there, waiting for you to embrace it. This ancient practice of timeline collapse means you pick a future you want to experience. Close your eyes and immerse yourself in it. Feel the sensations, the emotions, the certainty of being there. Let your future self guide your choices today. Move through your day not as someone who's hoping to achieve that reality, but as someone who already lives it. The next day, act from that future point. Make choices like your future self would, speak as they would, and move as they would. You're not just pretending, you're aligning with a reality that already exists. In Part 3, Mastering Creation's Codes, Chapter 21, The Art of Letting Go, focuses on why chasing actually pushes away what you want. In the fall of 1924, Samuel Henderson trudged through rain-soaked streets, his briefcase heavy with unsold goods. Each rejection deepened his sense of desperation. The harder he pursued success, the more it seemed to slip away like morning mist. Samuel discovered a universal truth that resonates with everyone who has ever wanted something too much. What you chase with desperation just runs faster in the opposite direction. One wet evening, he found refuge in a little cafe. There, an older man noticed Samuel's defeated look and offered a simple wisdom. The universe works in paradoxes. The tighter you hold on, the less you keep. That night, Samuel did something drastic. He let go. He stopped obsessing over success and focused instead on genuinely helping others. Within weeks, his sales doubled, even tripled. Once he stopped chasing, success began to chase him. In 1943, Rose Matthews uncovered a truth after losing her husband to the war. Grasping for love again, she tried everything. She went to social events, but all she found was emptiness. One spring morning while tending her garden, Rose had a breakthrough. She realized that her frantic search for love came from fear. Fear of being alone and fear of never connecting again. In that moment, she completely let go of her future expectations. By surrendering, she made room for something unexpected. Love found her in the form of letters from her late husband's best friend. Their shared stories helped her heal, and what blossomed between them became something beautiful, something far better than she had been forcing herself to find. There's a profound truth here. The universe works in paradoxes. What you chase often slips away, while what you let go of tends to come back stronger. This isn't just a philosophy, it's a basic law of life, the ancient practice of sacred surrender. Pick one area in your life where you're holding on too tightly, maybe a relationship, a financial goal, or a dream that feels out of reach. For the next 7 days, practice giving it all up. Let go of your need to control the outcome. Focus on being present instead, trusting that the universe has a better plan than you can fathom. Notice how, as you loosen your grip, what you wish for starts flowing back to you effortlessly, like water finding its way downhill or a flower leaning towards the sun. Your deepest desires know how to come home. The universe responds not to your struggle, but to your ability to allow. In this sacred space of letting go, miracles unfold in ways you never could have orchestrated. In Chapter 22, we explore reality transformation, turning obstacles into strength. Frederick Miller spent his days deep in Pennsylvania's coal mines, surrounded by darkness. Each morning he went underground, burdened by anger and negativity. But even in those shadowy depths lies a powerful truth, a truth that transformed Frederick's life and can change yours too. One day, while he was examining his surroundings, Frederick looked at a piece of coal and had a groundbreaking realization. This ordinary black rock, shaped by intense pressure over ages, had the potential to become a diamond. In that moment, he grasped something crucial. Pressure isn't punishment, it's the catalyst for change. From then on, each challenge he faced became an opportunity. What felt heavy transformed into the energy he needed to grow. The darkness in his mind shifted into a sacred space for change. Before long, this new outlook inspired him to bring fresh ideas to mining safety, eventually landing him a leadership role. A similar story unfolded for Edith Warner, a painter in 1944. She faced constant rejection from galleries. Each no hit hard, feeling like a blow to her dreams. But one rainy evening, staring at her pile of rejected works, she had an epiphany. Those weren't failures. They were raw materials for something bigger. Edith started using the rejection letters in her art, turning them into vibrant mixed media pieces that told stories of resilience. The energy from rejection fueled her creativity. Within a year, her innovative works caught the eye of major galleries, leading to a success she never imagined. The lesson is clear. What seems like an obstacle often hides potential. Every challenge carries the energy needed to lift you up. The pressure that feels overwhelming, it's actually what can elevate you. Try this ancient practice of energy alchemy. Pick one challenge in your life, something that feels burdensome or impossible. For 3 days, don't see it as a problem to fix. Instead, view it as energy waiting to be transformed. Write down how this pressure could be turned into something greater. What diamond is hiding in this coal? What masterpiece is this rejection inspiring? Embrace the shift as you stop resisting and use that pressure as fuel for transformation. Watch as the force that once held you back becomes the power that pushes you onward. Now picture George Anderson in Nebraska, standing at the edge of his barren field, waiting for nature to signal when it's the right time to plant. Day in and day out, George studied the sky, tested the soil, and checked the almanac. Yet, something always felt off. George reflected a common belief, that everything outside must be just right before taking any action. But there's a lesson in his story that can change how you see reality. One morning, George noticed his neighbor Thomas planting his fields with great confidence, even when the conditions were questionable. What happened next was surprising. Over the weeks, Thomas's bold choices seemed to sway nature itself. Rain fell when it was needed, the sun shone at just the right times, and his crops thrived. While others waited for the perfect time, George realized something groundbreaking. Thomas didn't succeed because conditions were ideal. No, conditions became ideal because he made the choice to succeed. This same idea played out with Martha Williams, who owned a small hotel in 1943. While many businesses were cutting back, Martha made a daring choice. Instead of sitting around waiting for the economy to pick up, she started renovating her hotel, as if success was already on its way. She didn't wait for guests. She created the kind of experience that would draw them in. And guess what? The universe answered her bold move. A military training center opened nearby, bringing in guests. A well-known writer chose her hotel for a stay, attracting even more visitors. Her reality changed not because she waited for the perfect moment, but because she made a choice to create it. The big truth here is this: you're not stuck because of circumstances. Instead, circumstances bend to your decisions. Every moment is packed with endless possibilities, just waiting for you to choose. Think about an area where you've been holding out for everything to be just right. Now, make that choice you've been putting off. Act like your dream reality is already happening. Write down your commitment and take one small step today that shows you mean it. Remember, the universe doesn't respond to your wishes. It responds to your actions. By choosing now, you bring all those possibilities into your chosen reality in this powerful moment of decision. You become the creator of your own future, holding a power that's always been inside you. Every choice you make sends a message to the universe, guiding energy toward the path you want. When you truly decide, reality starts to shift around your solid choice. Chapter 24: Opening the Door to Endless Possibilities. In the chilly halls of Blackstone Penitentiary, Jonathan Maxwell walked his usual rounds. He watched men trapped behind iron and stone, but one morning, something hit him. As he observed a group of guards going through the motions, he realized a deep truth. They were prisoners too, even if their prisons were invisible. Jonathan saw how these free men limited themselves, just like the steel bars held back the inmates. They talked about dreams they thought were out of reach, chances they felt unqualified for, and lives they believed weren't meant for them. Then, everything changed when Thomas Reed, a former inmate known for his escape attempts, returned, not to be locked up, but to speak to the prisoners. "The bars were never my real prison," he said, tapping his head. "It was my mind. Once I broke free in here, I didn't need to escape physically." This idea also rings true for Harriet Collins, who worked at the Wilson manufacturing plant for 15 years. Each day, she gazed out the factory windows at a world she thought was beyond her reach. convinced that someone like her couldn't dream of more. Then one morning, she read about a former factory worker who became a successful business owner, and something clicked. The limits she thought were real were just thoughts, thoughts she could change. That very day, Harriet decided to act like there were no boundaries between her world and theirs. She walked into the bank she always felt too ordinary to enter and asked about a small business loan. She started talking to customers at the factory, gathering insights about their needs. In just a few months, she launched her own company, supplying specialized parts to the very factory where she once felt trapped. Now take a moment to think about the final mental barrier you believe is holding you back. Maybe it's a belief about what's possible for someone like you, based on your background, age, or situation. Write it down clearly now. For the next day, act like that limitation doesn't even exist. Move through your life as if that boundary was just a trick of the mind that's now gone. Take one step, no matter how tiny, that your limited self would have thought was impossible. This isn't just about thinking positively. It's about understanding that the cage of limitation is only in your head. When you push past your last mental barrier, you'll find what Jonathan and Harriet discovered. Freedom isn't something you achieve. It's something you realize you've always had. Chapter 25, The Activation Code, Rewriting Your Reality in an Instant. In the dimly lit telegraph office on Maple Street, Thomas Morrison tapped away at the brass key, sending messages into the night. For 15 years, he'd shared countless tales of triumph and tragedy, never knowing his own thoughts were carrying even more weight than the electrical signals racing through the wires. One night, as rain battered the windows, an unusual message came through. The dots and dashes formed the words, "You're transmitting right now. Your thoughts are shaping reality in real time. Are you aware of what you're sending?" Thomas brushed it off as nonsense, but the message persisted. "Watch closely. You'll get proof shortly." A moment later, a wealthy businessman walked in, a rare occurrence at this hour, eager to send an urgent telegram. As the man explained his message, Thomas recognized it word for word. It matched the anxious thoughts he'd been having about his finances. This truth is just as clear in Helen Bennett's story. Her little bookstore stood quietly at the corner of 4th and Pine for 7 years, hardly noticed. One evening, after reading a mysterious book about creating reality, Helen made a bold change. Instead of seeing herself as a struggling bookstore owner, she embraced the identity of a successful curator, with her shop being the community's heart. The shift was immediate, no waiting, no gradual change. The moment she tuned into this new mindset, reality adjusted to fit her. The next morning, a local newspaper reporter strolled in, wanting to feature her store. By afternoon, 3 reading clubs had lined up to hold their meetings there. Within days, her once quiet shop buzzed with energy and purpose. You see, the universe works in mysterious ways. Just like Thomas's telegraph system connects instantly, when you shift your inner state, the outer world reacts right away. There's no waiting around. Many folks think change happens gradually, but that's just an illusion. The world shifts the moment you tap into a new frequency. Here's an ancient trick. Pick one area of your life for a change. Instead of just hoping or working at it, make a firm decision to live that reality now. For the next day, walk through life as if that new identity is already real. Watch how fast the world starts to mirror your internal shift. Remember, you're always sending out your vibe into the universe, creating waves of possibility. The real question is, are you doing it on purpose or not? Think of yourself like a radio tower, constantly transmitting signals. Your thoughts and feelings shape your reality. When you get this powerful truth, you'll see why it's so important to stay aware of the frequency you're choosing to live in. Now, let's talk about living in sync. It was a crisp autumn morning when Albert Matthews stood ready to guide the 7:15 express from Chicago to New York. For 12 years, he followed the schedule, finding comfort in its routine. But that morning, something felt off. A fallen tree blocked the track, forcing Albert to decide, wait for help or take a detour through the unknown. Against his instincts, he chose the unfamiliar route. What happened next changed everything for him. As the train traveled through surprising landscapes, Albert made a fascinating discovery. Each delay led to something perfect, A pause at an unplanned stop allowed a mother to find her child, and a slower pace through a valley prevented a possible accident ahead. What looked like interruptions turned out to be a beautifully coordinated flow of events. This lesson echoes the story of Dorothy Williams, who performed nightly at the Grand Palace Theater in 1944. Her show had become routine and dull, every move perfectly planned. Every smile was carefully planned until one evening, the stage lights went out. In that darkness, Dorothy chose to let go. Instead of sticking to her strict routine, she began to move with the music. The audience saw something amazing, a performance that felt genuine and alive, leaving many in tears. The universe works in a perfect rhythm, but when we try to control it, we just create our own roadblocks. When Albert chose to take a different path, he found something much better. Similarly, when Dorothy loosened her grasp on perfection, she discovered freedom. This is the paradox of flow. The less you push, the more grace flows into your life. Think about how often you resist life's natural current, trying to bend it to your will. But the moment you let go and ride that wave, you step into a space of effortless creation. Suddenly, synchronicities happen like clockwork. Imagine being like a leaf floating down a stream, moving exactly where you're meant to be. Tomorrow, you'll try an experiment and surrender. As soon as you wake up, drop all rigid plans and expectations. Instead, let your day unfold as you follow those gentle, intuitive nudges. When choices arise, take a moment, feel which way resonates most. Trust that the universe is working things out for you, and watch how connections begin to appear. Life starts to flow more smoothly when you stop forcing your way through it. Now, let's look at Chapter 27, titled The Art of Non-Resistance, Why Letting Go Speeds Things Up. In a dimly lit gym on Chicago's South Side, Jameson Porter faced his reflection, fists raised against an imaginary opponent. Night after night, he trained hard, pushing himself until his knuckles bled. He thought victory only came from sheer will, but each match left him more worn out and defeated. One rainy evening, his old trainer Solomon observed Jameson's relentless pounding on the heavy bag. "You're fighting the wrong battle," Solomon said gently. "The secret isn't using force against force, it's using your opponent's strength to your advantage." With Solomon's help, Jameson realized a powerful truth. Resisting something only makes it stronger. When he learned to flow with his opponent's energy rather than fight it, everything shifted. His movements became fluid, and his victories came easily. This same lesson showed up in Mildred's life, too. In 1944, Thompson was a single mom trying to raise 3 kids on her own. Every month was a struggle, with bills piling up and anxiety creeping in. The harder she fought her situation, the tighter it held her. One morning, while fixing a torn dress, Mildred had a realization. Just like thread needs to flow smoothly through fabric to make something beautiful, maybe her life needed that too. Instead of battling her financial troubles, she decided to embrace them with an unusual sense of gratitude. She chose to trust that things were working out for her. Within weeks, her shift in perspective began to change her reality. One of her clients mentioned her skills to a theater company, and a random meeting led to a job designing costumes. What once felt like huge obstacles faded away as she stopped resisting. Now think about one part of your life where you feel stuck. Maybe it's a relationship, money issues, or a personal challenge. For the next 3 days, practice surrendering. Instead of fighting what is, try to embrace it. Tell yourself, "I trust this situation is working for my good." Watch how your reality begins to change when you let go of resistance. Chapter 28, The Infinite Loop. In a small workshop in Hartford, Connecticut, William Matthews found himself captivated by his collection of clocks. Every morning, he wound them carefully. But lately, he noticed something strange. Time wasn't flowing right. Moments from what felt like the future would slip into his present. One autumn morning, while he worked on a grandfather clock, he had an extraordinary vision. He saw himself clearly, receiving an award for his innovative clock designs. It felt more vivid than any dream, full of truth. In that moment, he realized this future wasn't just a possibility. It was already there, waiting for him to step into it. Instead of brushing it off, William made a bold choice. He started acting like the celebrated craftsman he envisioned himself to be. He reorganized his workshop, kept detailed design journals, and approached each clock with the focus of a master. Before long, his work flourished, and opportunities he never dreamed of began to appear. You'll find a similar truth in the story of Beatrice Collins, who lived in a small Brooklyn apartment in the 1940s. She had poured years into her dream of being a novelist, collecting rejection letters while working as a typist. One evening, sitting at her cramped desk, she had a light bulb moment. She realized she was waiting to become something she already was. The next morning, Beatrice changed up her routine. She structured her day like a successful writer. She wrote at dawn, took inspirational walks in the afternoons, and connected with other writers. No longer did she introduce herself as just a typist who wanted to write. She simply became a writer. The change was instant and deep. Her words flowed with new confidence. An editor who had once rejected her work suddenly wanted to see more. Within months, her first novel was accepted for publication. Now, take a moment to connect with your future self, the version of you who has reached your goals. Picture in detail what this future self does in a day. What time do they wake up? How do they hold themselves? What choices do they make? What energy do they radiate? Once you have a clear picture, commit to living as this person for the next 24 hours. Don't wait to become this version. Be them right now. Let every action, every word, every choice come from this elevated identity. Watch how your reality starts to shift around you. This isn't just imagination. It's about activating a timeline that already exists. You're not creating your future. You're choosing which version of yourself to embody in this moment. In Chapter 29, we explore the mirror exercise, how to test reality in real time. In the lively streets of Chicago, Harold Davis put on his magic shows with skillful precision. But beneath those well-crafted illusions was a deeper insight that could change how you see reality. As crowds gathered to watch him perform, Harold noticed something amazing. When he drew their attention to his right hand, they completely overlooked what his left hand was doing. This observation led him to a powerful realization. Reality works the same way. What shows up in your life depends on where you focus and how you feel. One winter evening, tired from a series of lackluster performances, Harold decided to put this theory to the test. Instead of trying to change the world around him, he shifted something inside, his sense of mastery. He didn't just act confident, he felt like a true master of his craft. Within minutes, the energy in the room changed. The audience leaned in, captivated. Tips flowed easily now. The same tricks that had flopped hours earlier drew gasps of amazement. This principle showed itself again through Irene Mitchell, a fashion designer in Manhattan during the 1940s. After years of struggling for recognition, she found the same truth Harold did. The world responds not just to your actions, but to who you are. One morning, before an important meeting with a buyer, Irene decided to try something new. Instead of waiting for approval, she shifted her internal state to one of absolute certainty in her talent. She didn't just think confident thoughts. She felt her artistic genius in every part of her body. The change was instant. The buyers who once dismissed her now hung on her every word. Designs they had rejected weeks ago were suddenly just what they wanted. In just hours, her entire reality adjusted to fit her new mindset. This ancient practice, known as state shifting, encourages you to choose a feeling you want to embody: confidence, abundance, peace, or mastery. Don't just think your way into that state. Feel it as if it's already real. Let that feeling fill your whole being. For the next 3 hours, hold on to this new state. Notice how differently people respond to you. Watch how situations rearrange themselves to match your new frequency. Pay attention to the synchronicities that start to pop up. This isn't just a metaphor or a visualization. It's a real demonstration of how your inner state shapes your outer reality. The world can't help but reflect what you truly embody. In Chapter 30, The Mind of the Divine, we see this in action. In the dim light of Vienna's top chess club, Philip Steiner sat before the board, his fingers hovering over a knight. This moment was about more than his next move. It was about uncovering the hidden mechanism behind all of creation. Philip's revelation showed us that reality works like a chess game. Most players react to the moves in front of them, but true masters see beyond that. They don't just respond, they orchestrate. Over years of careful watching, Philip discovered something important. His biggest wins didn't come from reacting to what his opponent did. Instead, they came from deciding how the game would play out before the first piece even moved. A similar insight happened in a quiet greenhouse where Margaret Wells was doing her plant research back in 1944. After documenting plant behavior for years, she had a breakthrough. She realized the plants weren't just reacting to their surroundings, they were actively engaging with them. One day, instead of following the usual lab rules, Margaret switched things up. She started seeing her work as a partnership, not just observation. She talked to her plants as if they were teammates. Within weeks, those plants began to grow in ways no one expected. Her colleagues called it luck, but now you know, it was something more. Margaret had figured out a secret. She wasn't passively waiting for results. She was actively creating them. Here's the core truth. You aren't just an observer in life. You're the grandmaster, the co-creator who makes the first move. The universe doesn't send you signals. You send signals to the universe, and it has to react. Reality isn't just happening to you, it's happening through you. Every situation, each event, all encounters, they're not just random. They're moves on a cosmic chessboard, ones you can influence. So let's practice this idea of co-creation. Think of a situation in your life where you've been waiting for something to happen. Instead of just reacting, decide how you want it to unfold. Write down your desired outcome clearly. Then, move through your day, not as someone who hopes for a particular result, but as someone who has already made it happen. Watch as reality starts to shift and align with your intentions. This isn't just positive thinking. It's you stepping into your role as a conscious co-creator. You're claiming your right to shape your world. The universe, bound by timeless laws, has to respond to your moves. Just as an artist doesn't wish for a masterpiece, but skillfully puts brush to canvas, you can do the same. You must stand firm in your creative power. If you like this audiobook, I've made a free ebook version just for you. You can grab it using the link in the pinned comment. In these sacred pages, you've gone from being a seeker to a master. What started as a quest to understand the law of attraction has turned into something deeper. You now see your true nature as the source of all creation. You're on the edge of complete understanding. This is where your search stops, not because there's nothing left to find, but because you've awoken to a fundamental truth. You're not separate from the universe. You are its conscious expression. Look around. Every situation, every person, every moment of synchronicity isn't happening to you. It's flowing through you from the endless possibilities that you are. The world you see isn't separate. It's the physical expression of your consciousness. You don't need to attract or manifest anymore. Those concepts suggest a divide between you and what you want. But in reality, there's just one power, one presence, one truth, and you are it. Your desires aren't distant dreams. They're parts of you waiting to be recognized and shared. This is mastery, living life not as someone who seeks, but as one who knows. When you grasp this, reality shifts not because you force it, but because it can't be any other way. Just like the sun doesn't try to shine, it simply is radiance. You don't need to struggle. Your presence alone changes the world around you. Starting now, you walk the earth as a conscious creator. No more techniques, no more waiting for the right time. The power you've been searching for was always within you. It's the very essence of who you are. You are the lighthouse, and everything aligns with your light. This isn't the end of your journey, it's the start of truly living. Each moment becomes a canvas for your creativity. Every breath affirms your divine nature. The universe doesn't bend to your demands. It adapts to your being because you are the universe becoming aware of itself. Step forward now, fully recognizing who you are. Let go of seeking, trying, and waiting to become something. You've always been what you sought. The only change now is your awareness of this eternal truth. I chose this next book just for you, and it's going to change your life.